Good morning, Service Alliance community. How y'all doing today? What's up, brother Doug?
Good morning, man. It's Monday. I felt like we were just on a couple days ago. It's kind of weird how time messes with you, right?
It does indeed. Good morning, Garrison. Good morning, Adam. Adam was on our mastermind on Saturday. It was a good time. Really good job. EJ shared about KPIs.
Yeah, saw a lot of positive comments online about it. So
yeah, it was good stuff. It was definitely good stuff. How was your weekend?
I would have rather been playing with KPIs than power washing the house, but no, actually, I love KPIs. But yeah, the weekend was good. Power washing and family time. My daughter's in college, so she was in a concert, so we got to go watch her. So
nice,
good stuff. Then my son was supposed to have his birthday hibachi dinner, and he goes, "I'll wait for Chloe." So we looked near her school, and I said, he found one and he got a reservation. Where he goes, "Actually, there's no reservations needed." And I go, "Really? On a Sunday? That's interesting." So we pull up. It's like close to the college. It's somebody's house. And outside it said hibachi. I'm like, yeah, let's go to Cheesecake Factory instead, because I don't know what is going on in there. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
But as you know, it's 2 daughters and 1 son and my wife, so it's 3 against 2. I'm always proud of us how us men can pivot well, and it's okay, And I felt like I needed to champion. I'm like, "Are you sure, Ben? We'll find whatever restaurant you want, man, because we rarely get it our way."
Right?
Like, "Nah, Dad, it doesn't matter where. It's just as long as we're hanging out." And I'm like, "Damn it, being a good man. That's impressive."
I love it. I love it.
I was trying to live through him and have him be petty, but he wouldn't go petty.
That's a good boy there.
I'm proud of him. Yep.
Yeah.
How about you?
I built a roof on Saturday and then went and did 5 inspections and a final walkthrough. It was another. Yeah. I left my house at 5:30 in the morning.
Do you imagine being newer into this industry that weekends might be this way for you, or are you still...
Saturdays work day.
Yeah.
So I typically will try and take like a Friday, or right now we're doing continuing education on Monday, so that shoot's taking a Monday to crap. But when that kind of finalizes out, then I'll probably take Sunday and Monday. Chaos at church. Computer decided, nope, I'm not. The soundboard wasn't talking to the computer, wasn't talking to their in-ears, I mean, it was just like chaos. I spent 2 hours troubleshooting and then another hour after church and finally figured it out. The developer changed something and it just said, we're not going to communicate. So the other thing I did besides the mastermind, those of you who are watching now and pay attention to the replay later, you're going to get a little sneak peek of the new podcast, intro music. Welcome to the Service Alliance Group podcast, your home for service industry news, training, and interviews with experts on the home service industry.
Ooh, there you go.
Yes, sir.
You're going to have lovers and haters, Zach, so you understand that's just the way it works. It means it's pretty good.
Bring it.
No comments means like, yeah, whatever. So good job, Zach.
Yeah, we have some really cool interviews. I just lined up 2 more interviews. EJ, Mike, all of us. We're lining up different interviews across the board. So there's some good stuff coming. You can, if you're an all access member, sign up for the next month mastermind. Get it done now, so you put it on your calendar and make it important. We are talking high performance teams. How do you build a high performance team? It starts with you, right? And then what is the rest of that foundation? And are you building a jalopy instead of a high performance team, an old beater car? So
what's a jalopy, Zach?
It's an old beater car, just dilapidated, looks like crap,
Okay.
Right. Not quite like, my truck looks pretty good for over 10 years old. So
yeah.
All right, pray us in.
Good morning, Lord. We're here again. It's Monday. we have so much to be thankful for. Whatever parts of our body or mind that work well, Lord, help us today not take it for granted, whether it's walking or talking, drinking or eating. Lord, what a blessing it is to have life here on earth. And God, it's so easy for us to take so many things for granted, right down to working thumbs or listening to a beautiful concert. So, Lord, just help us have a heart of gratitude for the littlest things in our lives, so that when we receive these big blessings, our heart will be prepared to receive this abundance and use it in a way that will bless others, that will help our families, our community, our customers, our employees. Lord, help us be the lights of the world. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Good morning, Saul.
What's up, Saul?
I think it's the first time he hasn't been a smart aleck coming right in, coming out the gun like a smart aleck.
You never swat at a wasp that just flies by. You just let it fly by.
And that's why.
There it is.
There it is.
Oh, man.
Well, you poke the bear. I poke the bear.
Yeah.
I get it. So, high performance team, I kind of said it starts with you, right? Mm-hmm. What you are willing to tolerate is what's going to permeate through your company. And so how you start it, especially if you're a 1 or 2 man show right now, whatever you're building now, if that's what's going to continue on, right? You have to be very intentional in that. And it does take a lot longer to kind of turn that ship around. So anyway, Saul. So what were you guys looking for, or were you just taking anybody when you were building Action Appliance early on? How did that kind of start? I know you've made some changes along the way, but how did it kind of start?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely have had all those different types of mindsets since at least since I started at the company in '93. So I don't think there's a right or wrong answer, but I have met over the years a few individuals, Oliver, Christian, people like that, where they started their business before they even hired anyone. They knew exactly what it was going to look like and what they wanted. They figured out their mission and their vision and their code of values. And I'm like, that's impressive. So I love it when people can have that ability to do that. So for those of you who are going, well, I couldn't imagine doing that. The good news is we were able to scale and grow Action the other way, which is take on people and learn as you go. But at some point, you're going to have to put your foot down and draw a line of excellence or whatever your excellence is going to be. So, yeah, I've experienced it all, Zach. And I don't know. I mean, I might have been a screw up. I mean, Jake could have let me go in the first 5 years. So there is something about not being a type A and just super rigid. You do have to treat them like volunteers. That's something Jay and Dean Landers has said for decades. There's that balance of treating them like they're partners and pushing them and then holding them accountable.
It has to be functional, right? So you can have a ragtag bunch of people that you can turn into a very solid foundation for your business and grow and scale from there, right? That's the reality of it. I think it comes more into, like you said, Oliver is such a great guy. I love that guy. The values and the mission statement and your vision statement, like, what do I want from this? And I think so many I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say so many of these guys are just like, I don't want to work for someone else. I don't care. I'm just doing this, right?
Yeah.
And now they own a job because they didn't set that direction And then when you don't set that direction and you bring other people in, and I'm going to share from my experience, the owner of Gordon's Appliance, part-time, doing the appliance repair because he was a firefighter. And when he was hiring people, he was just hiring bodies. Are they a nice guy? Okay, cool. And he just throw them in. And there wasn't much direction or vision because it was a mission field for him. So that was his vision and his mission. But as a company, it wasn't really functional. So we kind of got what we got. He would hire basically bodies that could turn a wrench. Right. Yeah. And it wasn't always necessarily the people that had the right attitude or the right mindset. And then I continue that because that was the foundation that was laid for me. And it began to look more like a jalopy than a high performance sports car. Right. Like, so when I say it takes a lot to really undo that, because I had done that, and because I'm that guy that didn't want to let everyone go right away and didn't want to do these things, like I tried to change as a leader, and that took a lot longer than I wanted. But I didn't let people go when I should have let people go. I was allowing things within that business to stay, and it wasn't the direction that I wanted to go because I didn't clearly divine the direction that I wanted to go. So it really starts with your vision. Once you've established that, then it moves into who are you and how are you leading, right? I've shared a lot about the sound team and how that was. And again, same thing. We just brought bodies in. Anyone could come in. We've really changed that out to the people that really want to be there, that really want to be engaged. Are they necessarily the best fit? No. But they have this willingness within them to get better, to pursue excellence, to receive correction, to roll with a punch. Like yesterday was so stressful. All of us sound guys were just like the guy that was on, myself, and even one of the other guys who wasn't on yesterday. We were all just like high tension because we couldn't do the things that we normally do. So when you have a team that goes together and you figure out how to make it happen together, when those punches happen, that's high performance, right? You can serve with excellence even when everything is going wrong. I love seeing a team that can function in that way. How do you guys handle through those situations? How is your leadership team or your technicians? Like, how have you built that team? Do you have that within your company or no?
Working toward it. So I'm going to say something that I can't prove, but I doubt that anyone could grow a business beyond themselves and, or start to scale without trusting their people. And I've heard that in our communities going, oh man, I'm afraid to train a guy because I want that work to be as good as what I do. It has to be 100%, or else I don't want to take that chance. Well, you can't sustain yourself. You can't be a Steve Jobs. I don't think you can't be a Walmart. You have to bring a leadership team on, for sure. And so that's the next challenge, is making it so that the people that work on your team can know what you're thinking when you're not around and make good decisions. Maybe not exactly what you want. As a matter of fact, we at Action, I'm trying not to create such a process that it has to be 5 certain ways, because every customer is different. So the goal is to empower anyone on our team to make a customer's day better by giving them a lot of options. And sure enough, whatever option they choose, I might go, well, that's not exactly what I would have done, but it was authentic. It happened in the moment, and the customer experienced excellence. So growing a leadership team, that's where we've been at for 2 years. I feel like I'm impatient, but I know looking back on it, I'm a moron, because what do I think? I'm just going to run an ad and find 4 great people, leaders that are just going to come on board. And, it's a journey. It's a journey to take. So yeah, our leadership team needs needs growth and adjustment at this point, but it's a 2-year journey so far, Zach.
And I love what you said about allowing for the mistakes, and I think that is the difference in, for us, again, that sound team. I think that's what's the difference in that. There's a freedom in mistakes. Oh crap, I missed that. But they recognize it and are willing to accept, hey, maybe next time you could try this, or you did good. Like, what else could you have done in that situation, right? Like, they really are willing and able to accept that feedback. And I think if you have technicians, you have CSRs, you have leadership team that's willing to accept that correction, that's willing to know that mistakes are going to happen. But how do we move forward from that? Like, how do we make that better the next time? I think that's like a firm thing for a team, right?
It's mindset, Zach. You and I, we love mindset. If you're going to be a one-man show, just trust the drawer.
Dude, we had no in-ears yesterday whatsoever. They were playing off the house. It was so stressful.
Well, that's because you're a perfectionist, Zach. Sounded good to the crowd, I'm sure. So the idea is, if you're going to grow a team, you have to trust them. So if you're going to use that word trust, if you're going to jump in the waters of trusting, it has to be 100%. You have to understand that there's going to be bumps in the road, and that those bumps in the road make them better as part of your lead. It's training and teaching, and
you're empowering them. You're empowering them. Yeah.
Because if you own your own business and you're hiring people, then you are a leader, but you're not a good one, or you're not a great one yet. You're going to hopefully be better decade by decade, 5 years later. So you got to let them make the same mistakes. Oh my gosh. It's like watching a root canal video or something. Sometimes it really is. And it's not because I'm looking at them and judging them. I truly trust them. And it's like, I could tell them, here, read this to the customer, and it'll probably fix the situation. Say this to that customer, but it'd be way better if they understand the objective, and use their own words, because then now we're taking it to the next level. They're becoming a leader themselves. So it's tough.
People who learn how to work through the problems, learn how to adjust, learn how to make the corrections, right? It's not necessarily making the mistake. It's what happens after that makes the difference, right? And so I think one of the biggest signs that you have a high performance team is that everyone, when mistakes happen, when things go wrong, okay, cool, here's what happened. Here's what we want to do to try and prevent that next time. Here's a couple different options that we would take. And they're coming to you with them. They're bringing those solutions to you as the leader of the team. That's when you know it's high performance, when everyone is rowing that boat in the same direction. And we know that, if we hit rapids or whatever, we're going to paddle this way. And, if that doesn't work, we have a couple other options for what we're going to try and do. I think that's the biggest sign of a high performing team right there. Wouldn't you agree there, Doug?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think to just add to that, Zach, you can do it on your own. If you've never done this before, you can figure it out as you go along. Of course, who has to ride that roller coaster ride with you? Your team. And I did that for quite a while, but right now, what I found is the greatest tool to building a great leadership team over the last year now has been implementing a business operating system. So I just ended up using EOS, and it's incredible for me to see how I don't have to, the learning curve is short. I just have to follow this system. And now there's a freedom, there's open communication, there's goals being set, there's KPIs being looked at on a regular basis instead of me just looking at them when it's convenient or when I'm interested and curious. The team is looking at it. And there's other systems out there, Richard Cardone, there's a whole bunch of systems out there. I'd encourage people to begin to search that out because that's a great helping hand in developing leadership teams.
Systems are important. If you don't have some structure, and that, that's kind of what we're talking about on foundation. You're bringing the team together, but you have to have this foundation of a system from training to how you handle the calls to how you handle the actual work that you're doing. It helps everyone realize if they're rowing the boat in the right direction, right? Or if they're going backwards against you, right? That it's very clear that they're going backwards and they need to turn around. I came into this new company, and some of the things that I'm seeing, like Friday was the first time I've been able to sit down with the owner. I had 2 claims that there was just, I didn't know. I didn't have the skill set yet to be able to handle them. And so I finally had a chance to sit down with him, but he doesn't have a full system in place for training. So everyone's just kind of rowing the boat in whatever direction they want to be rowing the boat. And he's the only one that can do the training.
Yeah.
That's a bottleneck within a company. And it's just something to recognize, as he's done this for over 20 years, he's at the point he's like, gosh, I got to do this. So he's brought in an operations guy, Manny.
Nice.
And Manny is starting to lay out some of these systems and SOPs and things so that bottleneck doesn't happen as often, right? So even 20 years on, you can begin to change. If you're 20, 30 years into this business, you still have a chance to change. It is still possible. You have to have the willingness. It starts with you. Anything that goes wrong in that company, you as the leader, it's on you. And you have to be willing to make those changes.
It doesn't take long. It does take a lot of commitment, and you might find yourself more tired at the end of a week trying to think through this idea of reducing bottlenecks, making it so that people can do things in place of you. That's the goal, ultimately, isn't it? That people make good or great decisions, or at the end of the month, at the end of the year, the good decisions outweigh by far the bad, and you have a profitable year. It will digging a hole might be less tiresome than trying to come up with a system or trying to come up with a process and then it doesn't work, or you frustrated somebody and you got to tweak it and then it works, and then you celebrate the highs and the lows. It's totally worth it, though. Totally worth it.
And you don't have to do it on your own. You heard Doug say there's multiple ways to do it. If you want to start small and have a great foundation that you can build upon, Saul hits it right here. Join Appliance Alliance, join the servicealliancegroup.com, get into that all access, take advantage of the SOPs that we've created. They're good foundations for you to begin to build out these operational things, these training systems within your company, to then grow and scale to wherever you want to be. And it's not just stuff we've come up with, it's stuff that other people have come up with as well that has been tested, right? We're heavily influenced by people, the EOS. We're heavily influenced by Tommy Mello, right? Like these people that have been successful. If you want to go somewhere and you've never been there before, find someone who has been there. Watch, look, diagnose, watch that game footage, right? There's that metaphor of football coaches. They watch and watch and watch game footage. The best quarterbacks, the best linemen, they're watching tons of game footage and trying to diagnose, like, how do I get to this place that I've never been to before, right? So that is a great way to do it. Servicealliancegroup.com. Get in the masterminds. We're doing them monthly now. It's free for all access members and only all access members. So if you're not an all access member, make sure you join. It's a great way to shorten that learning curve.
I feel like if you're listening and you're saying, I'm not going to have time to do that stuff. you're missing the point. That you need to figure out the things that you do every day. And if someone else can do them for you, begin the process of hiring someone to do it. Now, if you love to do service calls, I get that. You can always go on the road and do service calls. But if you put at the bottom of your list, or you completely neglect the idea of setting your business up to work in place of you, it will eventually come to, I feel like, a tough ending, a tragic ending, actually, because a business doesn't sell for as much as you might think down the road. So, you have to put the time in. So you can get off the road for a little while. You could become very part-time, and you could jump back out there once you got an operations manager in place. Or like right now, I can tell you that we've been developing it for a little over 2 years, sort of like a online document that has all hyperlinks to every aspect of our business. All our SOPs are there. A lot of areas like an angry customer because the part never arrived or something like that. It has all this frequently asked questions section broken down into segments so that our CSRs can read that and see what's potentially available to them, instead of just going, I don't know what to tell you. I can have a manager call you back, bottle deck. And also, what customer wants that, that those words said to you. I can have a manager call you back or call back later. Same thing goes with our technicians, developing a place where they can go, oh crap, what happened here? And I can't reach Doug right now. I can't reach Brian. I can't reach Karen. Let me see what our options are. So it's something that's taken us over 2 years, but it's a great place, a resource for our team.
You hit on something in that I think is that next. So you've been running, you've been the firefighter, you've been the one putting out the fires, and now you're building a team. You have maybe 5 or 8 technicians, right? And you're getting to the point that you can't be the firefighter anymore. You have to make a decision, and you have to be the one to run your company. And you said something, you brought in an operations manager. You need someone who can implement this stuff. Like, if you've ever heard the concept of a visionary and an integrator, right? Like, those are 2 very important parts. If you're the visionary, you're the one coming up with these crazy ideas and trying to make stuff happen. You need someone strong who knows how to put these systems in play and continue on. I've been reading that Elevate book from Tommy Mello, and it's like, gosh, I wish I would have learned that so much sooner. I wish I would have read this so much sooner, because these are the things that I identified and I just didn't know where to go to with it. Right. So having that integrator, when you get to a certain point, it's so critical, right? Like, Doug, you're very good at putting this stuff together. Jay's great at coming up with ideas, and he's sustained for a long time, but you're very like, okay, cool, I got what you're saying. Here we go. Here's how we put this in place. Here's how we put this in place. And you're bringing other people in that can do that same thing. Like, okay, great, cool. So I'm responsible for putting the CSR stuff in place, and they run with it. I'm responsible for training technicians, and they run with it. You need to begin to build and widen that foundation.
And that works both ways. I have a friend named Phil, and he has a pretty decent sized business and has run it a long time. But he has a friend who's a straight up visionary, like has started businesses, built them, and sold them. And he's just got this really huge big picture vision. He sold his business to his friend / entrepreneur, and has stayed on as an employee, as the integrator. And he's getting these new fresh ideas from someone that he does not have it for. So
you don't have to be the CEO of your own company. You can have someone else run that portion of it. Right.
He made it. He's probably financially retirement's all set. And now he gets to stay doing what he loves to do, which is grow and build and have a successful business, but bring in the fresh ingredients from the big picture. And so I'm impressed. I have to call him because only in the last, 6 months or so, really realizing this visionary integrator role and how special it is. He probably is unaware of that concept, but lived it out because it made sense. That this person could take it to the next level. He's a humble guy, and he said the potential here is great. Let's see what we can do here. So love it.
There's multiple paths.
So I know.
There's multiple paths. There's no real wrong way to do it other than doing the same thing over and over, right? Like that's insanity. Like if you're doing the same thing over and over and it's not working, like find a different way. Find one little tweak that you can do. And it doesn't have to be the biggest thing in the world. No. I say it all the time. 1% better every day over the course of the year. You're 365% better at the end of the year, right? So what is that 1%? What is that one little tweak that you can do each day? And sometimes it's doing that same 1% tweak every single day for a period of time until it actually begins to gain traction and do the thing that you wanted it to do. It doesn't have to be this big scary, I got to blow up my team and I got to do this, I got to start from scratch. No, it's what's that one micro decision that I can make today and make a different micro decision tomorrow, or maybe the same micro decision that's going to play out in the long term. And creating a culture of that within your team. Creating that culture of being 1% better, all of a sudden you have a high performing team. Without a ton of effort, right? Like you encourage that culture of being curious and making these little 1% improvements, and your team's high performing then. I love it.
No, I think you're totally right, Zach. I feel like that's something that one of those things I'm good at. Wasn't maybe.
I have his address. I should pass it on to you.
Just do it, man. Rob did it to me. It changed my life in no way at all. So it's okay. It was funny. No, listen. I felt like as a technician right out of high school, that's what I did. What the hell just went wrong in that house? What's one little thing I can take away? And as a mediocre tech, I was able to probably exceed my expectations. Then I began to become a service manager and then the operations manager. Same thing. What the heck just went wrong? What do we have to change? Not wholesale, but just something little. So, I mean, it's been a while. Always trying to have a heart of gratitude. I don't do my gratitude journal every day like you inspired me, but it is the right time and the right place to say thank you, Zach, for, a little over 2 years ago, reminding me of how important it is to grow the lid, to learn, to read. And that takes that 1% that I've been able to do since I was 18 and multiply it by double digits. Again, what I mentioned, EOS, I don't know what the hell that stands for because I hate acronyms, but that series of books and that author has empowered me to be able to do a lot more in less time, but you don't have to go balls in. Just start with what you talked about, with just think about what just happened today. What could it happen again? Yes or no? If it's yes, what is one thing I can change a little bit? I don't need to fire anybody. What's one thing I got to do to say or do differently, and get that going? And then there's a sail in your wind, a wind in your sail, that then you'll say it's time to either hire somebody. You can also do that, by the way. You could bring an implementer into your business and say, this is how you're going to organize your leadership team. Let me see your SOPs. Let's put them in the right place so that people know where they are. Let's look through them. And that kind of infrastructure building is what's going to help you become that person that you don't need to be there to be successful.
I'm gonna hit it again, and then I'm gonna leave everyone with a final thought. Like exactly what you're saying. If you go and listen to the Tommy Mello Elevate book, that's exactly what he did. He's at 8 technicians in a garage door company. He's always having to put out fires. He's always missing family stuff. He's just like, he realizes he's the roadblock in his company, and he goes and seeks out an integrator, someone who knew how to put in the SOPs and all the structure that he needed, and he skyrocketed. The dude's at over 600 employees now, like shooting for 250 or 300 million, something mind-boggling in the service industry, because he's like, I can't do it myself. I need someone to integrate it. So what happens if you make that choice? You're at a point where you feel stagnant. Who can be that integrator, right? And the reality is, you're not going to post that on a job board. You're going to have to go out and recruit that.
Yep.
You're going to have to go and seek that, because those kind of people, that is actually a different process than just hiring a technician or something like that. Sure. You're at that level where it's like, I got to go and seek this person out. And the last thought I want to leave them with is what you were sharing, the gratitude. We did an amazing interview with a really awesome guy in the service industry. He's been branding companies, and some of the takeaways that I took from that, and you were just sharing, the gratitude, the thankfulness, right? Like the obsession, the relentless obsession with being better, with improving your team, with pouring into people, right? And the willingness to give back. Every great leader that I've encountered, those are 3 traits that run through every single one of them. Those 3 traits run through every single great leader that I have encountered. Every single leader that is just doing these amazing things. Those are the traits. So if you have those traits and you're sharpening those traits, watch out. Like, just continue to embrace that journey, and you're going to see something really cool happen. So
that reminds me how important a mastermind group is, or to network with people that know more than you, but also that you can provide stuff to, and that's exciting. I mean, that imposter syndrome that can enter into your body that makes you doubt your abilities. And then guess what? You know, if you're leading a team of people, if you're taking a nosedive, they're going to just naturally follow, you know? So I recently joined a monthly Zoom group with integrators, and it's interesting. There's like 7 of them. And I'm saying this to prove your point. Some of them are $100 million company. Some of them have, 500 employees. Some are a little smaller than me. There's all kinds in the room, but wouldn't you know it, some of the people who have such great wisdom are going and saying, anyone, if you want to talk, let's brainstorm. And they are so open and willing to share what they've learned, because it's a giver's gain type thing. And those are extraordinary people. So I've already gotten a couple things to take away to bring back to Action Appliance from one-to-one conversations with people that are, and you know what's funny about these integrators? They don't really talk about what they do. I never talk about the appliance service industry. It's about a visionary with an idea and an integrator that puts people in place to accomplish the task. So it's not so much about appliances. It's about customers and world-class service, and building a team of people that can thrive and succeed. It's really, and so that's my eye-opening stuff, hanging out with smarter people than me, willing to share. I feel like I need to step up my game, you know, and just listening to people and giving them words of encouragement or an idea here and there, because that's when you know you're on track. So thank you, Zach, for doing that for me years ago.
Get in a room with people that challenge you. Get in a room with people that support you, encourage you, and are giving. You're in a room where everyone's taken, man, you got to find another room. I'm telling you that right now. Getting those masterminds. They're all over the place. Service Alliance group, we're doing that. Just get in a room with people that challenge you to be better and are willing to pour into you. Watch what happens. It's pretty amazing. So thank you guys. Hopefully we helped you understand the foundations of a high performance team. Everyone's going to be talking about high performance teams and what it looks like to them, what their take is it. So hopefully we've given you a good baseline for the rest of the week. We will see you next time on the Morning Grind. Have a good day, guys.
Have a great week.